Boom. Boom.
Yep.
Making sure actually it actually is working. Oh, I forgot. Should I put I didn't put a capital mindset link. What the fuck?
What happened?
Somebody posted it in general chat.
No. Yeah, some people will actually do that, you know.
I think that's hilarious. Do you like the picture?
Yeah, I think it's amusing. I'm
so I told Meta to draw me sitting with a pile of money. So that was what I went for.
Yep, I shared it.
I do appreciate that Meta gives me hair. So for the record, I did not ask for hair. So Meta just did that on its own. So appreciate it. It's fine. But I know it's like they put a little tuft of gray in the hair when they draw me. Again, I didn't ask for that. It's just like, so the AI for some reason has decided that I should have hair with a tint of gray in it. I don't know. I don't know why it does that, but it's kind of funny. So, oh, Steve is making a point. Yeah. So I guess I'm going to, Russ from Dapper Dividends wants to interview me probably next week sometime.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be his live streams. He wants to do it as like an edited video. So we'll see. He wants to learn about the wheel. So, and boy, quite the, oh my God, dude, that got hosed. Like, this wasn't even the worst of it. So when those contracts executed, the Friday was it not this Friday, but the previous one, it was down like 16.5 grand initially. So holy shit. I'm like, man, if you did this for real, like you got wrecked. And if Monday was even worse, it could have been much worse. Like if the expiration was one more week further, it could have been even worse for the strategy. But like, so now it's like I'm sitting on, I think it's a little more than this now. I think it's like 12 grand in the hole. So I can't take the premium as income now for the experiment. I have to replenish the account. Otherwise, I'm just going to start drawing down funds drawing the account down. So, but people keep asking me if this is real money. How many times I have to say it's paper money? How many times do I have to say it's paper experiment? Something like, why would I experiment with my real money? So yeah, it's a real experiment. I guess maybe that's confusing people.
Yeah, you're doing it. You're acting as if
I am pretending that I really want to do this.
Yeah.
And what's funny is people like, oh, well, individual stocks will give you a better, you can get better premium. Totally.
Mm-hmm.
You can totally, there's stocks that'll give you better premium for these contracts. I was going to do 2 QQQ and one United Rental the last run through because I'm like, United Rental has so much positivity, I thought, towards like their business coming up in the next year and a half. There's going to be a lot of rental revenue coming in from like the West Coast from the destruction. And like, I thought it would be a decent one to sell puts on maybe. So I thought about it. I just stuck with QQQ. Boy, if you think I got that 16 grand would have been much worse because this thing got really hosed.
Yep.
And this could have been, some people might think of this as a safe stock, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have, positive revenue coming hopefully from, the destruction, which sucks for the people, but they're going to need rental equipment to rebuild those areas, and market don't care. Market, it got hosed with everything else. And I know they had the issue with that. They tried to buy some company in like Louisiana. I thought that was a weird acquisition. It just made them bigger. It didn't make the company better. I thought like, I was happy that fell through. If I was a United Rentals shareholder, I would have been happy that failed. British Warren Buffett.
Yep, he's here. He's here.
Hello, sir. How are we? And you know what didn't collapse? British Tobacco, of course.
Yep.
Chugs along, doing just fine. Has to pay the Canadian government. They don't care. 10% smash, to the QQQ. Don't matter. British
Yeah.
tobacco just keeps on chugging. So it's one of my favorite holdings.
It's so weird seeing my active holdings. Like this is my largest account or largest holding, and it's just it's just a knuckleball.
Pouches are a game changer. I don't know what else to tell people about these stocks. Like,
Yeah,
tell me
not
whatever you
genuine.
want. The pouches are a game changer for these companies.
Yeah.
And there was a unique buying opportunity for this company in particular
Hmm.
when they had some legal troubles combined with questions about, not just their debt, but a lot of companies' debts because interest rates were going all over the place. I thought they were uniquely positioned when it was like $29. Under 30 is what I thought it was a steal. So peace of mind.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's not I was looking for nope. I don't know if they have sector performance up to this year because it's only 3 months in. Sector dashboard. Okay. Okay. This is like a week and a half ago.
Hmm.
So this won't cover the last 2 weeks. So you could see, I just kind of thought this was going to be such a flat year. Maybe I thought value type investments might be a good way to go this year. And then a lot of it was Trump based. And then just the growth stocks had such a great run the last 2.5 years. So interesting to see where things are heading. So if we look at like the 3 month here, uh, who's doing good? Financials, not so much right now. Real estate, I have felt this. The news keeps getting worse and worse. I feel like I've been holding on, waiting for the real estate boom for a year and a half now. So it's
Yeah.
not here.
Yeah.
Healthcare, man, I'd be kind of scared to death to hold some health insurance. I thought at first they might, because Biden was attacking to get savings in like Medicare, right?
Hmm.
And the negotiations of drugs, trying to save money for the system and go after big pharma. So I thought Trump hadn't said any of this stuff in campaigning, so I thought he didn't care. But then, like everything with Trump, one day he just blasted a tweet about cutting costs in healthcare. It's like, okay, well, it kind of stinks then. And then some of these you can kind of figure out, like industrials and materials. It's like how the hell do you invest in those right now? Like the tariff stuff is just he just one day will just be like, boom, you know what? 50% aluminum tariff on Canada. And like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it. Materials, same dilemma. Technology, we know that they've kind of been getting clipped. What else? Utilities, they had a good run last year. So
Yeah.
kind of a
It
reset.
was it was an interesting one
Hmm.
for them. Yeah. Um. I don't know. Like I don't feel like much has changed from what like our last live, which was how many weeks ago? Which was like
Oh,
just be flexible.
I went, my retirement accounts are pretty much cash, and then I have my dividend investments. I went pretty safe. I went to more of a value ETF, and then uh trading account. I don't know, still have fun with that, but it's
Oh
it's a
yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
small amount of wealth or of my net value. So I don't know, like it was all coming together. I guess this is the first time have done a live stream since because I said I went to cash. I didn't really explain, but
Mhm.
like when Trump came in, we didn't exactly get the full picture, and then you started to see the Elon stuff coming out, the Doge. I thought, to some degree, I thought Doge would just go from department to department and create a report, submit a report to Congress, and that was what he would do. Then they just start causing pure chaos. Like there's email chains that are like the federal workers have no idea what's going on. Like they get random emails from nobody. They're just whacking whole departments while Trump is threatening countries with war and tariffs. I'm just like, it all just came together like mid-February. I'm like,
Yeah.
the market had run pretty decently from January to mid-February. I'm like, you know what? I don't think from that point in time, I'm like, I don't think the market's going to do 6% better than this year, which is what the rate was of the cash securities I could buy. So it's like, all right, I don't want to take like a 20-30% haircut at this point in my life. Like I really don't. I've been through this shit a few times, and as you get to the end, I'm just not buying the dip is different, I guess, when you get older, and there's more money on the line. Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
saying you'll hold through a recession when you got like 80 grand or something, it's like good for you. Okay, that's
Mhm.
cute,
Yeah,
but
but the replaceability also of that money going forward is a whole different matter.
I just
Also.
feel like I have what I need to retire.
Mhm.
This is kind of like bonus time for me to some degree the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Like I'm not the risk taking, like that's what the trading account, when I talk to like when I do like spec count stuff, that money is for fun. It'll always be there.
Mhm.
But the big pie is very safe right now. So I don't really care what people think. You can say what you want about people trying to time the market. Okay, we'll see. Well, like the first half I got out so far at the right time as of today. Now, does the entry, do I fuck it up? Do I meet Kevin the entry? Because that's what happened to meet Kevin. He got out pretty close to the top when he got out. Was it 21? And then he bought back in
Oh yeah.
20, or
Yep.
was it the end of 22? I think.
Could have
And
been
then when he
one of
bought
those.
back in 23, botched it completely,
Yeah.
so he missed it. But
Yeah. Like you're doing a timing on your life. It's not the same as trying to time the market, I'd say.
yeah,
So
I mean, and you can look at like when the calls that we've had, some of the companies I've listened to. I listen to like Master Brands.
mhm.
I listen to one of the HVAC companies. I listen to Aon. I listen to Caterpillar. I mean, what guidance can they give you? They don't know. It's not just like we slapped a 20% tariff on a country. It's like, how do you price? But then like Trump's doing like individual types of products, right?
Yeah.
He's going after wine in France. And
Mhm.
then the next day he's going to go after the aluminum business in Canada. And I'm waiting for him to go after like the car business in Germany or something like that. I'm just like, how do you possibly like value this? Um, it's going to scare people. And there is no what like, oh, he'll stop. And I've heard people like, he'll stop this. Why do you think he'll stop at any point? Why do you think any of this will stop? You're going to think there's a stopping point with Trump and he'll just blow right through whatever you think. Like, all right, he has a deal in place with Canada or China. It changes tomorrow. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but I mean, I was talking to you like the government hasn't even. So like I've been concerned about the government portion, the retaliatory tariffs, not just tariffs in general.
Mhm.
The specific where he's going like after businesses, like the wine one's a good example because he was like France is doing a 50% tariff on whiskey, so he retaliated with like a 200% on wine. Like this is the bonker stuff. Like this doesn't happen. Um, so I don't know how to react to this. And then the other thing, we haven't started cutting. The government is no smaller from the day that Trump came in, January 20th. And all the headlines about what Doge is doing physically and tech, like the government is bigger than it was last year at the same time. Like nothing has been cut yet. So all these jobs that you think they cut, they didn't technically have any savings from that. I mean, those jobs still exist, right? They're still in the budget. There's still outlays of funds for those jobs. Um, there's no savings there. Those probationary people they whacked, I knew those would be back. You can't just fire all the probationary employees in the federal government. That's not. You have to specifically state why they failed their probation, their performance, individually, each person. That's how these things work. You can't just whack every probationary like this unless you're in a specific. You declare like a reduction of force. That's different rules.
Yep.
So like I figure this is what Elon would do, like the Silicon Valley move fast, break stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, it looked great initially, like everyone was cheering him on, but now the courts are getting involved, and it's like, wait, there's processes for all this stuff in the government. You can't just whack wholesale departments. And then the question, the Congress outlays this funding, not the president. So he's just gonna get in the mud about it now, and instead of trying to do it the right way. Um, so like you can look at here, like here's February 2025. The outlays. So outlays is government spending. It's more than last year. There's no cutting yet. Receipts. which is funny because receipts are still going up. Like I looked at somebody that was talking about this on Reddit, and it's like, if we could just get back to pre-COVID spending levels of the government before COVID blew everything out of the water, because we never cut spending from COVID.
Yeah.
I gotta stop saying I'm gonna get banned here, but the pandemic, but they never cut spending from that period of time. If they had cut back to before the pandemic, we'd be in a really good. I mean, the country would be in a pretty decent state actually, because revenues have been doing really well. But then they want to cut a bunch of taxes, so it's just a confusing time. I don't know. I don't know what to think. And then they want to get rid of the CHIPS Act. He can't technically get rid of the CHIPS Act, but Trump certainly can delay the payments. He can throw a monkey wrench in that. Does that mean he's right? Who cares? He can do that. He can just not pay them. Like Micron has CHIPS Act money coming for some of their upgrades. You know, Trump can just delay those payments forever. It could take years to get those payments from the president. So that's my biggest scare, I think, is the retaliation tariffs keep going. And then we haven't really cut the government, because that's going to be the pain. If they're really going to make the hard cuts to make the government smaller that he keeps saying, we haven't even started yet. And there's going to be pain when that actually, if that comes to fruition. I think it's going to be more. So. Oh,
Hello,
waving
Internet
hand.
Warrior. Yep.
Like, so I've like, what have I been looking at, I guess? So, but bearing in mind, I'm not really interested in adding more. I don't, it'd be a stretch to add a new company, but I did add Aon. I think, did you say you, or you don't have Aon, but
No, I do. I do. Yeah, like what I've been doing is I'm experimenting here, because before Andrew decided to take his hiatus, I figured, okay, Andrew can be my ceiling, because I respect how he goes about managing a long short portfolio.
Mhm.
And I respect his, like, actual research on companies. So I was like, okay, I have a frame of reference. Like, that's my ceiling. Let me see if I am still good at long fundamentals. So, I'm trying to just only do long only portfolio, seeing if I can weather all of this and see how I go at the end of this. Now Andrew's hiatus kind of like has torpedoed it, but like, I think I have rough numbers to, and names to keep track of, to monitor things crudely.
So this dipped.
Yep.
It dropped down to like 70 and then 69. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm in. So that was kind of, originally I was just like in the 70s, was like, I'd buy more, which was my 2 buys before. But when it tanked, I understood like it's all the Trumponomics stuff combined with they had a transition to new refrigerants systems, which caused them to stop production, literally stop production. And people, oh, markets are efficient. It's like, oh, everyone priced in that they had to cut production for like 3 months while they got the new equipment online. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. When they declared that in the earnings, it nosedived again. So that was a good buying opportunity. I have not added to master brands.
Neither have I, but
say.
it's still sitting there.
I didn't have a warm and fuzzy about the company on the last earnings. They're just, the problem is like they fixated on getting the company set and geared. Like everything they did was about this expected home boom, getting back to norms. So they bought another cabinet company, they increased production facilities, they put all these outlays of cash ready for this expansion in housing. And then it was like this quarter, it was like boom. It was like bad numbers. And it's like the whole housing, I mean, nobody's doing well. The new home builders, everything looks pretty bleak. And it's just like, can they hold out? So I think now they're like, okay, we're not prepping for this housing boom. The last call, it's like they're just like looking to save money. That's what I was getting from the call. They were just looking to save like efficiencies to survive this time frame. So they were consolidating manufacturing. I thought it was interesting. They moved their facilities out of California. They moved to it was Nevada or Las Vegas, or Nevada or New Mexico. I don't remember. So they moved out of California to save some money. They consolidated their primary facilities in the Carolinas. So one positive, I look at it, I'm like, they're a pretty American company. They manufacture in America already. So I think that'll do well under Trump. Their raw materials, though, come from Vietnam and China. There's some risk there with the inputs costs, but they've already moved out of Mexico. They used to be in Mexico more. So yeah, I don't know, but who knows? Tariff news could change any day.
Oh yeah.
You can think you're safe, and then he'll get you somehow. But I'm not looking to add really anything newish. I think people, like, you could look at getting like a list of, if we really, you're talking like recession, not just down 10%. Correct. This is a correction.
Yeah.
You have your wish list of things. What's your tried and true companies? What do you look for? And be honest with yourself. I tell people, because it's like, if there's companies you think you're going to buy when they get cut 30%. When that day comes, will you really buy? A lot of those companies, you get scared, and a 30% correction in a company is probably going to be, everything's probably going to be terrible. So, I mean, I look at things like my tried and true, when in doubt, go to things I know that have worked for me in the past. Copper investing. If we go doomsday with this year in the markets, like recession, copper, man, that is if copper dives, you go into it. It's copper is essential for recoveries. Like that's, I did really well with that in the Great Recession. And then companies like Caterpillar, right? Maybe not tech stocks, bro. Well, it's up to people. So how do you feel when Anson bought Adobe? Okay.
Is that the segue?
Good timing. But this is a guy that buys like bulldozer companies and stuff. But I've done videos on this before. When I did the moat video, I mentioned in the moat video, I don't think Adobe has a moat. I've never thought Adobe has a moat. I'm very hard pressed to think any software company has a moat. It's just waiting to get disrupted. All software companies, I don't see it. So Adobe, which is kind of funny because like Paul bought it. It originally peaked and then it had a first dip. Paul jumped into it from Everything Money. And he was so cocky and proud of himself because he bought it on the dip. Well, the dip just keeps on dipping. So, because he bought it, what was it? End of December. I remember his stupid schmarmy video. I'm not playing it. But I'm just like, again, like he fails at tech investing with his shitty DCF. He's constantly just failing at this. But yeah, because he probably was watching it and he saw this big dip from early December from like 550 down, into the, high mid 400s. And he thought, this is my chance to buy Adobe. So he bought it about here. And the dip keeps dipping. It still was at a premium valuation at this point. This is a very premium valuation at this point at this company. And I don't know. People disagree, but I think when they tried to buy was it Figma?
Oh yeah.
When they tried to buy Figma for an absurd valuation, I'm like, this is a sign of weakness. The fact that they bought this tiny company at that lofty price, tells me they're scared of being disrupted. I think they're very disruptible. So there's that portion of the fear. I've always said, like, I don't think Adobe has as big a moat as people think. And they charge huge fees for people to terminate subscriptions, which is another issue. Their customer service is garbage. But this company is just begging to be disrupted. Customers don't like them and are unhappy, right? They have this weird subscription model where when people can just use open source to do AI, you got the Chinese with DeepSeek, all these things that are unknown. And then you think Adobe's going to be able to still charge a premium for their subscription service that's very expensive. And people, people are used to it. Okay. If people, at some point, people won't bear that cost. So I don't think this company has a moat at all. That's one thing. Now, and then the other, I think the earnings, from what I read briefly, was there's kind of concerns on how they're going to monetize AI. It's just management's not really telling people how they plan to monetize it very well, apparently, because it nosedived on earnings. And it's such a paltry, I think I read it's like 1 or 2% From what I read, yeah, forward Q1 earnings. Let's see. Management only expects like 1% contribution to revenue for the whole year from AI sources. And that's just not good enough. They're just not monetizing AI. So in this world, that's not good enough. They're not producing AI revenue generation, and they're not. I don't, from what I understand from their call, they don't really have a decent explanation for it. They were kind of wishy washy. The transcripts I read. So this is one of those companies I've always thought is screaming to be disrupted. I would never hold something like this long term. I don't know. People are like, oh, look at the 5-year chart. I'm like, okay, we can look at the 5-year chart. I don't think this is a very investable company. I don't know why. Anson bought it, which I was confused because Fabio didn't buy it. I'm right.
I don't know if any of us bought it. Like,
I'm
as
not
far as like
aware
the
of
bigger
anybody
name.
that we know bought Adobe.
Yeah.
So I don't know why Anson bought it. I'm not getting into who Anson is. I don't understand why he bought it. This is another thing. These I don't know, you call it Falling Knife, DCF Warriors. They're probably all the same. The Falling Knife, right? It's cheap. Why is it cheap? Because it just dropped a lot. That's just such a meaningless way to look at investing. Because Paul thought that back here, and it's dropped even more since then, right? The dip
Yeah.
keeps dipping. Could it dip even more? I don't think of all the bad news that could come out about Adobe. If we look at if we look at this risk reward, how much higher could it go? Say they increase margins a little bit. Maybe they perk up their 1% revenue from AI to like 1.5 or 2% expected per year. A little bit of margin increase, showing maybe some profits. How much more you think you're going to get out of this stock compared to what if it goes the opposite way, right? You know, they're just not producing the revenue from AI. Nobody likes their AI tools. Don't you think this could get cut in half? Could very
Yeah.
easily get cut in half.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So then we look at the risk reward. I think it's much more likely this could get cut in half than double. So you're taking an asymmetric risk holding this. I don't get it.
Yeah. An
I don't get it.
unfavorable one of that. Yeah.
Compared to all the things in the world you could own, I don't get owning Adobe.
Yeah.
I just there's better opportunities. Why buy Intel? I don't know why you'd ever buy Intel.
Not for me.
I still don't get it. Intel is screwed. I mean, the foundry business, they never could afford it. Gensler put out all this funding and they have this huge debt pile. And then we found out later it's like Gensler thought the foundry was the way to go, but the board actually wanted him to directly compete with Nvidia, which is how did I would love a book on this. What happened? Because they had diametrically opposed views of what Intel's future should be. And then here we are today. The only reason it keeps bouncing up value, the only reason the stock goes up is when there's rumors that the company's either getting bought out or TSM is making a significant investment or they're splitting it up. That's the only reason like the stock's going up anymore. And then the new CEO, it popped on his news. So whatever. I think it's going to get split up at some point. Paul went bull on Tesla exactly at the top. I mean, he probably just did that for views. But I've already proved, like, when he said he was going to buy SCHD. Oh, wait, let me show this. You're going to love this, people.
Oh, no.
Now, mind you, he changed this thumbnail after he posted it originally, after he got some shit about it. And then conveniently, the thumbnail changed on the top one. So if you find this video, it's not the same thumbnail. Don't you love this? Was within like a 3-month period, I think. Because he said he was buying it because one of his interns told him to buy it. And then I was like, I did the math. He was losing money by not just buying an Ohio Muni Bond ETF because he's in Ohio.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He'd make more money. He'd make more freaking money in dividends if he bought a Muni Ohio ETF compared to SCHD. Like, if you're as rich as he supposedly is, why would you? It's fucking stupid to buy something like SCHD. Tax mitigation should be his number one priority, but he's an idiot. So, I was thinking of doing a video. I got lost in track of time, but I was going to do SCHD Stan and me. We're going to do a video on this. It still could happen, but Oh man. Oh my goodness. Look at all these people. Neil Weston coming in strong.
Yep.
Powerful name. Fabio sold Adobe before earnings drop, and Anson Free thought the ancillary business back. I don't know. I think it's going to be so hard for companies like Adobe and Salesforce and Intuit. Like, I think those are they're terrifying. If you're going to invest in those companies with AI coming about, I just can think of so many ways that like just certain news events, maybe management says one thing that's slightly negative, and people are just terrified of these companies that have these software subscription type businesses being disrupted by these AI tools that are coming out of nowhere. Like DeepSeek came out of nowhere, supposedly, but it, can they make it? Sure. I mean, you'd have to pay a lot of attention though if you were going to invest in those three companies. I think not worth my time. Paul
Yeah.
does it more than me. Paul, I don't get what he does. Like,
YouTube entertainment at this point.
he should be like Warren Buffett. If you're as rich as he says he is,
Mhm.
all you should care about is mitigating your taxes and protecting and preservation of capital, which is kind of what I was thinking this year. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's all he should be thinking about. I don't know why you'd even bother with. It's not even worth thinking about buying individual stocks if you're as supposedly rich as Paul. You just be worrying about how you can lower your tax bill, right? And then
Yeah.
not have huge swings. You don't want to lose any money if you're worth like $100 million. You don't want to lose 10 mil shorting Nvidia. Oh,
Like
Juan Destin.
if you really wanted to show off, oh, I'm smart and I can do this YouTube thing, like you could just pivot to a chess channel. Like he could do anything at this point. Be a wildlife photographer. But no, he's like fixated on investments, equities, and for whatever reason,
Now I'd
just
say to people like if you're like 20s, I know I was doom and gloom, but if you're like in your 20s or early 30s and you have like a 30-year horizon, like you don't need to do anything different. You can tweak, maybe you tweak like your ratios.
mm,
Maybe you want to go more into like the S&P 500 than QQQ. Maybe that what makes you feel safe enough to keep going, I guess, is it's like more mentality. If you're terrified of growth stocks getting pulverized,
yeah,
maybe that's not what you should be buying right now because you
yeah,
probably can't handle that mentally. I don't know, but
like like
like I
have
made I made like tweaks to like my dividend account. I'll show. So DLN was my ETF for dividends, and then I switched to their high yield version, which is like a value
mhm,
dividend account. I mean, it still keeps the same process going, still weekly dividend ETF buying. So my habits not changed. I've just kind of tweaked what I'm buying. And I feel more comfortable in the Trump era buying DHS is more exposure to like things like Johnson and Johnson, Berkshire or not Berkshire, Exxon, think more defensible names.
yeah.
DLN, the top holdings are all the tech names. So it's not really that big of an adjustment for me.
No, no, it's fine. You're still able to live your normal life with family and friends. Go out and like enjoy a nice meal here and there, and do chores around the house. Be a normal functioning adult.
What is going on?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
so
he
I'm
posted it.
yeah.
Okay. I'm like, he's not going to do a video. Okay, we got to talk.
Yep.
I got to talk about,
Junk food segment. Let's go.
man, where do we even begin? Oh, he's done so many. Okay, how far back do you got to go?
Like
Uh,
we're not even like you said. It's just correction territory. This isn't even like horrendous.
okay, this was 6 days ago. Okay, I got to go into it. Where's this goddamn? Show me how much money you lost. Holy shit. It's like, holy hell. Like, we've all been very entertained watching this. Like, the days of trying to help anybody in this group are over. It's just, this is the best reality TV show on the internet. This man is committing seppuku on his personal and his family's wealth. and his wife's wealth. All of them are getting just pulverized by this guy. And he just like you couldn't, if you described what he's doing to somebody that doesn't invest, you'd be like, why would someone do this? Why would you keep losing money and dumping more into it and losing? It's like it exists. It exists. He's just funneling, constantly pumping money into this account. And he started admitting it in some of the Discord or in his voice chats, the clips that I heard.
Mhm.
He said he's dumping like 1,500 or something a week into this account. It's a freaking black hole. Because that's the only way I figured he was keeping it kind of afloat. He was just dumping money constantly. It's supposed to generate income, but he's just all his paycheck goes into this thing as it just continues to just deteriorate. I mean, I'm sure people here have watched. So he lost like 30% because he bought, of course, his policy is they're just performance chasing. So whatever Yieldmax fund is the greenest and the biggest dividend is the one that they all buy. So they buy them when they're going up. That's they don't buy stuff on dips. They buy it when it goes up. So of course, if you the last year, okay, he's got, crypto MicroStrategy, Tesla, of course.
Yep.
Alti is one of the most retarded things I've ever seen. The holdings of Alti are freaking laughable. Like they don't look at that stuff. Nvidia, which has gotten kind of clapped. Coney, more crypto. Freaking more crypto. It's all crypto based because crypto's done well recently. So the distributions are higher. It's gone green. But then the day of reckoning with these beta, at some point, crypto doesn't go up forever. And it has, it goes back. Crypto winter fears, retrenchment. you got pulverized. 30%. And it's like, oh, it'll just go back up because that's how stocks work. I'm like, well, okay, that's how stocks work. Maybe it goes up. This isn't a stock though. It's an ETF with a pile of cash that writes option contracts on a specific stock. It's not even a stock. So no, it doesn't have to go up. You might never see that money again. And what was hilarious is, so the risks of margin, right, kicked in. 30% pulverized on a crypto going from like 100,000 down to the 7, crypto got pretty clapped recently. I don't know what the price is right now. So what happened? He got margin called. So now when everything is at the lowest, got beaten up by the market, he had to sell. Which is, this is why going huge in margin is the problem. You have to sell at the worst time. He sold at the worst of this drop. He had to sell a significant amount of stocks to cover the margin. And then the next day, boom, everything was like 12% up. And he'll never get those shares back. Those shares are gone. The margin monster ate his shares. But now he's so smarmy that everything's up 12%. Well, your portfolio has less stuff in it. Like, oh, and they can't see it. It's just funny. Like,
It is.
I used to feel bad for the people in that group that lose money, but they're everywhere. The Yieldmax subreddit is filled with people that have gotten destroyed on this too. These Yieldmax funds. We're just here for entertainment. And I will say there is no reason you should ever own a Yieldmax fund, ever. There's no reason to invest in these. There's no good use of these Yieldmax funds. They're predatory. They shouldn't exist. They should be illegal. All they do is enrich the Yieldmax people. All right. They just give you your money back, people. And these people don't realize the first year you own these Yieldmax funds, you feel good. You're getting all this dividend and it's return of capital. So you're not paying any taxes. So you think you're a king. You got your $50,000 job. Now you got like $100,000 and you dumped all your money and you got $100,000 of Yieldmax payments. You're a king for a year. Year 2 hits. You've returned a capital like the whole amount of your investment. Now it's all taxable. And then what happens? Scenario, 30% drop in your portfolio. So now you have to sell. So now you're going to take a 30% loss on the asset and it's all taxable because your cost basis is $0. These Yieldmax funds are a tax time bomb. They're a nuclear time bomb for taxes. Like this is what nightmares are made of. At your worst moment, you're going to get a giant tax bill on these things at the worst time. And you won't be able to, what are you going to do? Who are you going to go? You're going to negotiate with the IRS. They'll put you on a payment plan, and if you miss one payment, it goes to collections. There's no effing around with the IRS. These people are just screwed.
Yeah.
Kamara's going to flee the country, I fully believe, at some point. He's going to flee the country. So, but he won't give up. This nonsense that he's going to sell all of this, he's not going to sell all this. And if he did, he would just do it again. He won't learn. And I think we found out, like, he's blown his account up like 3 times. Like, in his life, he's talked about it on and off. He's blown his accounts up multiple times. Like, he's really terrible at this stuff. So I had one clip. Oh, can I play it? It's on my phone. I don't know if I can send it to myself. No, I don't know if I can send it. What do you think of all his Yieldmax adventures?
The buffoonery is something that maybe the viewing public don't fully respect, because not only are there like Robinhood or brokerage alerts of account deficit, but this man also, like, within this time frame, took out an expensive loan for a Cybertruck. Apparently, this man also, like, took out a personal loan on the side, along
Oh,
with
yes.
all the mortgage that margin that you can cleanly see, unless he starts deleting and removing things. So, like, the amount of degeneracy on display is something to behold, and efforts have, like, really been made to try and, like, not make people to not do this, but here we are. So I think we're entitled to laugh because efforts were made.
And it's doing exactly all of these Yieldmax funds. Like, since I reviewed some of them, I always have tried to focus on the Yieldmax funds and not the people.
Hmm.
We have to talk
Oh
about
yeah,
Kamara
yeah,
on
have to.
this.
Yeah.
This is just crazy. Like, this was like $100,000 account not a few months ago, and he's cut it in over half. And then his joint account, I think, is just gone. And the joint account he shows was $100,000 loan, and it's basically gone. I mean, because it was all Misty. So I still think Michael Saylor is a psycho, and you should be very clear. You should not invest with Michael Saylor. You should be very scared to own anything. He's a psychomaniac. Like, the dude says crazy shit. I don't know how you could put your money with him. Why? Because the chart goes up. Vertical lines, bro. You're gonna give that man your money? Like, buy Bitcoin if you like crypto. But when you buy MicroStrategy, you tell me that you're a degenerate options trader, probably. That's why you're buying it, because you want to do option trading. You want to sell puts or some bullshit instead of just buying Bitcoin. So you're not really into crypto if you buy MicroStrategy. That's what it tells me. I don't know how they're going to do. So MicroStrategy now is in this preferred shares era.
Oh yeah.
Instead of the convertible debt, they're issuing all this do they still call themselves MicroStrategy on their website? Let's see.
My guess is
no,
their
they
website's
say
just strategy, but
oh, look, they still say MicroStrategy though.
yeah, previous press release probably.
Yeah, they still put on their press releases MicroStrategy, even though it says strategy at the top.
Yeah.
Okay, look at it. They're offering freaking preferred shares.
Gotta love it.
What? I want to hear someone that disagrees with me on this. What cash flow are they going to pay those dividends with? Just explain that to me. What cash flow? They don't have cash flow. The software business doesn't make money. Bitcoin doesn't produce cash flow. How is he going to pay these preferred dividends that you have to pay? They're preferred shares. You have no choice. What the fuck? Like, this is crazy. And this is now because I think the convertible debt, I think they've tapped out whatever they could get from the markets to bear for that stuff, because that only worked if the stock kept going up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it's MSTK. I think that's the preferred shares. If someone else, what's the preferred shares ticker? Shit. I think it's RK. No. Someone tell me it's I remember what it was.
Is it STRK?
No, it's like MSTKA
Oh,
or something.
okay.
Hold on. I just looked at it. Oh, here, you're right. STRK. So this was another preferred share. They had one, they did, and then they were doing this $21 billion preferred share. Now, what's funny is that this got repriced, if I remember correctly. Oh, it has gone up. Okay, it came up again. When the market dipped, though, this repriced. So instead of the 8%, it was selling at like a yield of 9% when we had the drop in the market.
Yep.
So that should tell you what people get a little nervous about owning something like this in a downturn in the markets. It had a pretty big, sizable jump up. But oh boy, I don't know what they're paying this with. Hopes and dreams.
With the
But
blockchain
yeah,
somehow.
who else is here? I sold out of Riot SoFi. Someone posted, about using SoFi to make retirement selling puts. I saw somebody post a video about that. Of all the stocks you're going to pick, of course, it's going to have good premium generation. It's a high beta stock
Hmm.
because it went from like $8 to 18. Now it's down to 11. So of course it's going to generate good premiums. Friggin' what a stock to own. If there is a real downturn in the market with their basket of personal loans, but I'm not so critical because some of my concerns were alleviated. They weren't there. They have tried to just get away from some of the personal loan as the percentage of their,
Yeah.
loan book. So they have grown some of their other products. I I remember when this ran up to like 16, 18, and then all of a sudden they're all saying it's going to be a JP Morgan size company. I'm like, okay. Not, I'm not so negative, but I think that's a little I think they had their moment. They probably should have sold, but it's fine. Well, I don't really think there's not much else. I mean, what else are we going to say? Retaliate. Trump is going to do what Trump does.
Yeah.
It's going to be just chaos.
Yeah. I mean, like, I will say for myself, because I'm on the relatively younger side. Uh, I'm just limping in and refining my shopping list. Um,
Hmm.
and like there are some opportunities out there, but at the same time, though, with me limping in, I am easing into positions that I better be comfortable seeing that it could be down like 30-50%, like within a couple months or so, and be okay with that outcome. Otherwise, what the hell am I doing?
I just think
So
because like Trump and Elon, if
yeah.
they follow the playbook of that Argentina president,
Hmm.
the dude with the chainsaw,
Yep. Melee.
he went in, he kind of did what they did. He just started whacking departments and laying off workers, austerity.
Hmm.
Um, and then there was this down period in the Argentine markets when they were doing this. They got pretty beat up. Then afterwards, there was the realization that okay, now the government is actually not in huge debt, and then there was a recovery. They didn't have these government-run companies that were just kind of, how do I say it? Like there's like these government-owned, bureaucratic companies in the South America in some places.
Oh yeah,
Where
yeah.
So he got rid of some of those regulation, and the Argentine market looks like it's doing well. But if Trump and Elon are going to do that here, it's like, okay, there's going to be a really severe period of correction, I think, which I don't think we've seen yet. I don't think this 9% correction is what, if they can enact what I think they're trying to enact, I think there's more pain to come.
Yeah.
So this is just the opening salvo, but like the real work is actually cutting the budget, which they just pushed it all the way to September. They just punted, right?
Mhm.
So they just punted on that. So there's no change there. You're seeing some of the federal employees come back that they already fired. So they're losing court battles. Like they haven't even enacted what they want to do. Um, you know, they're declaring like this trade war with Canada. Who knows what this is? This is friggin' nonsense going back and forth. It is weird though. I will say that Canada has the premier of Ontario just does his
Oh
own
yeah.
thing.
Yes.
What the fuck? Like
Yeah.
that is so odd to me because I'm like, this is why America's the greatest government. We have the greatest government structure in the world. I'd fight anybody on that. We don't have state governors just dictating freaking trade policy. That was ridiculous when that guy freaking, yeah, we're gonna do utility tariffs. I'm like you're like you're a freaking province guy. Like, shut the hell up. That is so weird.
I
And
mean,
then of course he backed down immediately. I'm like, either
to-
the whole country of Canada is gonna back up something like that or not. But
yeah.
oh,
I will say
Ontario
though,
versus the United States.
yeah,
Okay. We're
like
scared.
at least out of all the provinces though, Ontario is one that some people have heard of in America,
Yeah,
at least.
I know. His
Poor
tough talk
Saskatchewan.
moment. He was tough talking. I was like, oh, you're cute, you Canadian maple
Yeah.
syrup people.
Yeah, notable
Gold.
how yeah,
In
gold.
the end, the gold bugs are just living life right now.
Yeah, gold
They're living
bugs.
their best life.
They're just vibing.
Well, you started it, Cam. I don't know. I just think like what's the end state? Like I don't know what the end state is. Like Mexico is trying to play ball right now. It
Mhm.
seems it appears like Mexico is trying to appease Trump, and he said positive things. They've delayed the tariffs. He hasn't really done these retaliation tariffs to them like he's done to Canada and the
Yeah.
EU. They don't seem like they're like retaliating back like the others. But then it's like, okay, where does that go though? Like, where is this all heading? And it's really tough to see.
Yeah.
Like, if you have a reset of these Chinese manufacturers with tariffs, they're going to move out of China to not face the Chinese tariffs. Are they going to go to Mexico? Or are they going to go to Vietnam?
Mhm.
Where are they going to go? I
Yeah.
mean, this is such a weird, like, I'm kind of just, some degree, I'm almost like, I put myself in a position where I'm kind of a bystander to some degree. And um, I don't know. I think
It's
people want like set answers.
yeah.
They want a 10-minute video where I can just tell them what they should do. And it's like, I don't know. I could tell you this is a fine place to be. And then like I was in Builder's First Source, right?
Mhm.
I was in Builder's First Source. I thought in the 120s, it's a very appealing investment. As soon as those, and then what happens? Trump, lumber, and timber tariffs immediately. And I'm like, there goes all my positivity on that stock.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you think that company's going to do well with 20-30% tariffs on lumber and timber, which
Yep.
comes from Canada? And Trump can say, oh, we should have this industry in America all he wants, but like, there's a reason our timber comes from Canada,
Mhm.
right?
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah. The
anyways,
same thing with actually like something that I still have money on the line with. Huntington Ingalls got beat up on its earnings call, rightfully so. Trump says one positive line during like his address, and like it's been grinding upwards. And
yeah,
part of me
and
thinks,
that's a good
wow,
place
this
to
is
be.
silly.
I am not. I am sticking with Huntington. I
Like
didn't
it's
really buy it on the big drop. I mean, in
neither did I.
hindsight, maybe we should have, but
Yeah,
I
but
was happy with it in the 180s. I was pretty fine with it.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, for God's sakes, like we knew before Trump came in, they talked about increasing ship production.
yep.
Hegseth talked about it. It's
Hmm.
going to probably be a priority in the DoD budget coming.
Yep.
He talked about the Department of the Boats, which, if you get by your Trump hate, I don't think that's a bad idea.
No, no, same here. Like
We are
it kind of
so
has to.
lagging. We are
Yeah,
so far behind in ship production when you look at us compared to like Korea or China,
yeah,
other oceanic type nations. We're terribly behind in shipbuilding. And then Huntington Ingalls, go listen to their calls. They will tell you they're struggling. They
yeah,
can't find the people to replace the boomers, and then they struggle to train them. Probably because they expect a lot from them because they're so short of staff. They need these people to come on board fast, and it's like, mistakes are made. I mean, if you want to get in the trades in America and you're 18 and you don't know what to do, man, if I was 18 knowing and like say you just like mechanical things, go to Huntington Ingalls. Where are they? Alabama, Georgia? Like
they
they're
got
down there.
they
Go
got some
there.
locations.
You'll make a
Yeah,
killing, right? Like we need
yeah,
you, America. So, but yeah, I think it's a good place to be.
yeah. And it's not a perfect thing because like I agree with you and Fabio's assessment. Management could be a hell of a lot better.
Management
But
is the biggest problem.
yeah, but
Management
tailwinds.
And think about, we could be here.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, management gets booted out the door. Maybe
Yeah.
just the Pentagon's had enough of this, and they just kind of moves. They kind of put their foot down. Next thing you know, there's a new CEO announcement. You and me, man, this could be 20% on that day.
Oh,
I
that's
think it's a good place to be
it's
to
yeah,
kind of play
yeah,
defense. So
yeah. It's
I've
okay.
actually I was running through their supplier list,
Mhm.
trying to see if any of them were interesting, kind of like Curtis Wright
Oh yeah,
type
yeah,
idea.
yeah, yeah. Good times.
So I was they have like 200 suppliers. So I've tried to narrow it. I actually used AI. You'd be proud of
Oh,
me. I used
hey,
AI to take their supplier list, generate the ones that actually are publicly traded or listed, and then I
mm,
tried to sort it. I've been kind of playing around with it. It's kind of fun to use.
hey.
The tools for this are actually really, AI is really good at this stuff. Not
Mhm.
like the analyzing of the companies to buy. They're probably
Yeah, no,
dog shit.
yeah.
But like
Forget
the
that.
sorting and collection of stuff to
Yeah,
look at, I think is really useful
yeah.
as an aggregator.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind killing Huntington Ingalls for one of the suppliers if one of the suppliers is a far cleaner
That's what I'm
thing.
thinking. I'm like,
Yeah.
because originally when I looked at General Dynamics and Huntington Ingalls for for the submarine investment, I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't, the shipbuilders kind of are the shitty way to play this. I'm like, I
Yeah.
want the more pure
Mhm.
submarine investment. And that's where I found Curtis Wright.
Yep.
It proved to be right. I
Mhm.
mean, so this might be another way.
Yeah.
Because the suppliers probably, what's the biggest problems we have with Huntington? The management sucks.
Yeah.
Their financials are
Not
okay-ish.
yeah, it's
They're okay.
there's better, there's worse. Yeah.
Yeah, they have huge outlays of cash for these ships.
Mhm.
So you could play the same theme maybe with a supplier.
Yeah.
I don't have any yet that
I mhm.
I've
Oh, that's fair.
none have perked my interest yet,
That's fair.
but I'm patient. I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah. But it's still plenty of time. Like hell, I thought like when it came to Aeon, I was like, congratulations on your win, Dan. It's probably never gonna get back to where you thought it's interesting, so I won't have portfolio overlap.
I mean, it's
And
funny because it did
here we are.
double.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
did double from where I
Mhm.
bought it,
Yeah.
but I held on. I don't wanna, I really like the company. I
Yeah.
think, like, that company is like the tip of the spear. I don't like, they are like, they're like the tip of the HVAC tech spear. Everybody I talk to, it's like, that's the company.
Mhm.
More than Carrier or Tran. Like, that's the company, and it just dropped to a crazy price, for only like a day or 2, and then it pops back up.
Yep.
So, you have to just be ready for that.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, next thing you know, you're buying it at like 100, and I'm like, "Well, you don't really have a lot of margin for error
Mhm.
buying something like," because then it's at a pretty rich valuation at that point. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but then again, Trump, I don't think Trump's gonna mess with like refrigerant, um, refrigeration policy. I don't know. I can't say for sure. I could be so wrong. I mean, Carrier might get interesting if there's like a real recession,
Mhm.
because Carrier is more of a volume business.
Yeah.
They're a volume business. They're
Mhm.
bigger. That one could take a bit of a clip. I have not bought it since the original purchase. I don't know. It would probably have to go below 50 for me to think about Carrier. Um, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have
Yeah.
anything new.
Yeah. The only other like new one that I was like somewhat happy with, and still easing into, ANET, but that's more of a Jesse thing. So
If I buy that, I'm just following Jesse's orders. I don't even know what to talk about.
I do like that I got
'Cause
his
I find it
exit
be,
strategy.
what am I gonna look at
Yeah.
that is more influential on me than Jesse telling me to buy it? Like they're like, that's where you hire a professional. If he
Mhm.
tells me to buy a net, yes, sir. I I have no way to counter that. Um,
Yeah, like the cool thing with Jesse when I asked him about this, because originally I thought it was DC spend. So like if you're gonna play it, but be ready to like look for the exit at some point. But
this
for him,
plays on
he's
that
like,
theory because we're saying it's questionable that people are assuming the data center
yeah,
spending is over just because
mhm,
the economy might be in a little bit downturn.
yeah,
How many times have we said it? It's like nobody has indicated that they're lowering or slowing down. Well, we'll slow down a little bit. Some, like
mhm,
Microsoft, slowed down the growth of the capex.
yeah, yeah,
They're all still growing capex spending in this phase.
hmm yeah,
Nobody has said they're not. People are just drawing these inferences when you see there's a downturn in like QQQ. They just assume it also means these companies
mhm,
are pulling back. It's like not true.
Yeah.
Um,
Now
but yeah, this could be a great opportunity.
the thing that muddies the exit strategy though is their segment breakdown and how they roll out their segments is slow, methodical, but with a good foundation. Where things like campus may be able to have enough tailwinds left in that once DC spend slows down. So
Mhm.
from like having like kind of asked Jesse like point blank, what's your exit strategy with any sort of DC spend slowdown? He's like, oh no. He's like, I still want at least some exposure even after that. I'm like, okay.
Mhm.
So you know, yeah, that was like the only other interesting thing that's on the radar for me.
Yeah, I have a pretty short list. I mean, I got like some doomsday stuff. We're not in doomsday yet, but
No,
I've been
I
looking
mean,
at some of them just to refresh. But
yeah.
um, I always keep my eye on copper prices. Tell people
Yeah.
watch copper prices. That tells you a lot. What else we hear? What percentage cash? Probably like 50% for me. I'm like chilling like I'm not just memeing. It's like I'm chilling like Warren Buffett. And I don't even like Warren Buffett. I'm a Peter Lynch guy, but me and Buffett are out there smoking cigarettes together, I guess. Watching the US economy burn in cash. Just like I don't have an entry. I don't know. How do you feel safe about what Trump's doing? I don't know. Like I'm watching.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, there's been no cuts. So if he's really adamant about that stuff, man, I don't know.
Mhm.
And then Elon, like friggin', it's so wild. The one thing that killed. Remember they had that the cabinet meeting,
Oh yeah.
all the people there,
Yep.
all his whole cabinet,
Mhm.
and then you look over and there's Elon with his stupid tech support T-shirt and that dumb fucking black hat he keeps wearing everywhere, like it's a meme. He keeps wearing that hat that Trump signed, and it's like it doesn't fit his head. Like it's such a weird look. And like here's all these cabinet people. It's a cabinet meeting, and then like Elon's just rambling like in a ketamine coma, like in a ketamine state. He's rambling on for like 15 minutes, and no one tells him to like shut up. I don't know. He must have dirt on all these people because they're just letting him do what he wants, apparently. Um, but I don't know. He's the richest man in the world, so he might very well have dirt on all these political people, and they're terrified to say anything about him. But yeah, what was it? Elon tech support. Oh, let me guess, you can buy the shirt. Like, what world? Like, this is so friggin' weird. Like to me, what times we live in. This is so weird. Like that this is a thing, and this is like an official cabinet meeting, and you have some dude like dressed like this. I don't know. And then who they made fun of Zelensky that wasn't wearing a suit when he visited Trump. I'm like, you got
Oh yeah.
Elon there in a t-shirt. What do you mean? Like, there's no dress code. Like, what the hell? And then his company is burning. Tesla. Oh my god.
Oh yeah. The
Okay,
share
this should be
price.
a lot. I haven't really talked about Tesla in a while,
No.
but I'm a certain person I follow, Dumb Money, Chris Camille. Like he talked
Mhm.
about the robots and the humanoids, all this
Mhm.
stuff. I'm just like, that's cool, but I mean, I get it at this point. You either think there's a $10 trillion market in robots and FSD, or you don't, or you think it's worth nothing because it doesn't produce any money right now. I don't. We don't. I don't need to debate that. But what we can tell, like Elon is doing permanent damage to Tesla. I think permanent brand damage. I don't know. I don't know how you recover from this. Like the sales numbers, like what was it? Europe, like 50% of their sales in Europe are gone. Last I looked, just gone. And this is not people that just thought, oh, BYD, that's a nicer car. I'm just going to switch because it's cheaper. It's a better car. Like they do surveys, and it's like, no, they switched because they're disgusted by Elon Musk. This isn't just like customer preference. Like this is something else that you don't see this from major, international companies. They don't have political agents running these companies. This is just wild. And then you can go to China. I think it was like 48% drop in sales, which I don't think it's necessarily the same. That one's probably more just customer preference
Yeah.
that BYD, and there's a much better selection of EVs in China that the people there have to choose from. So it's like both sides, it's like huge drops in sales, um, different problems. And then you got the CEO going out on tangents and, trying to knock down doors in Washington. Um, this is wild. This is wild. And all the gains from the election are gone, basically. So all you're back to now is the hopium of, I don't know what they're cheering right now. Are we cheering robots or robo taxis or I don't even know at this point. But so like the robo taxis can possibly exist now because if they took over the Department of Transportation, the certain safety requirements of vehicles, they can probably just say, yeah, we're not doing that. And then that'll allow, because right now you have to have a steering wheel and brake pedals and stuff in cars. The federal government requires it for manufacturing. So maybe they can override that. But you still got to get by state regulators to actually allow these things on the road, the cars. So whatever. Nobody believes that. They think it's $10 trillion market. So I'm an idiot. But I think he's committing real damage to the brand. I don't know how recoverable this is, which is funny too. I noticed nobody on the board of Tesla is saying anything. They've no whispers, but yet quietly, a lot of them are selling their Tesla shares.
Yep.
The chairman of the
Noticed that.
board and some of the other directors. You go look, the board of Tesla, man, they're not saying a damn word, but they're selling their shares. So they know that should tell you everything you need to know about what they're thinking. But I don't know. How long is he going to stay in Washington? Jesus, I don't know. He seems really cozy. He might be there the whole year. But I guess not. He hasn't. All this Doge stuff is just freaking. I mean, it sucks for the people that are going through this, the federal workers, but we haven't really. There's not really any cutting that's gone on. This is all just rounding errors.
Yeah.
Daikin is a great company. It's also Japanese, which sucks. Looks like he's there for it's work day.
Very nice one, lads.
Which funny, it's true. And I love that. So is Fabio going to get deported? Oh my God. Oh, he was born. Wasn't he born here?
I thought he was. Could have
His
sworn he was.
dad immigrated. Yeah. That is nonetheless funny.
Mhm.
Shorting Tesla with every pump. There was one guy in Wall Street Bets that made like $2 million. I think he shorted at the top. Maybe I should have. Insurance will be so high for Teslas. The few people left that are interested won't buy them. I can tell you though, like in certain parts of the world that are very high EV, like the difference between gas and electric, there is no difference. Like in California, like I've seen people talk about, like you're paying as much for the electricity as you would the gas. So that's not the savings. And if Trump's getting rid of all the EV credits, which he said he's going to do that too. So there goes the EV credits. There goes all the subsidies for green futures and stuff. I don't know how any of these green companies make it the next 4 years, unless it's all just words and they're still paying these subsidies. But hydrogen technology, solar companies, those are friggin' charging companies are dead. Was ChargePoint. Does this even exist anymore?
I don't even know.
So barely. 69 is very appropriate because that's what you're getting if you buy this. I'll have to say, okay. One of my friends bought this at like $9. He's like, he just tells me. He didn't ask me if he should. He just tells me he bought it. And I'm just like, you already bought it. I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm like, maybe you don't want to own that. He's like, no, but they passed one of those laws that they had like billions of dollars for charge stations. I'm like, yeah, but they didn't build any, did they? So they barely built any. Yeah. This is not where you want to be right now. Like, is there any juice to short it? I don't. That's a different topic.
Yeah, but, that's not for me. I'll be on the fence. I'll just be watching with some popcorn, maybe.
I'm shorting Tesla. Am I regarded? it terrifies me, the thought of shorting Tesla,
Yeah.
because I don't want it. I just don't want to be the guy that gets wrecked shorting Tesla after investing for so many years. I would just fucking punch myself in the nuts. But
I
do
can
I
see.
like what's the word? Like it's like I don't know how this comes back. I should say like the car sales numbers that they've lost. If he really has destroyed the brand, and you believe, which I don't believe everything I see, but like you see like swastikas that people drew on the cars. People are picketing Tesla car dealerships, burning them. That's cool and all, but like the survey data I've seen, like there is real brand destruction. I think of like customers going away from Teslas. I think that's real. Um, how do you reverse that? I think he's every day he's in Washington, he's damaging his brand. Um, and then China's slightly different, I think, problem. I think they're just getting out competed in China. I think
Mhm.
there's cheaper, better EVs in China. And people they should come to America. Well, they don't have all the safety features, so that's probably not happening. They need extra safety features to come to America. This is a good thing for us. Like that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I've seen videos though, like people like, oh, China EVs have better FSD than Teslas. Okay, keep in mind though, the Chinese government censors videos. So I'd imagine there's some videos of that stuff going wrong. You're probably going to have a hard time finding it, but I missed the boat on it a bit. I mean, shorting is a different game than anything else. You do you.
Yeah.
Um,
Have
I
your
don't really.
parameters.
I have a little quantum left. I'm mostly out. So yeah, I'm mostly just one in particular, but I'm eyeballing something. There's another company I'm looking at. I wish I had held my Carvana short. Lord Almighty.
Oh, did that one actually get? Yeah, that one got.
I topped it. I almost topped it. I got it at like 288 when I shorted it, and then I held it till like 230s, 226, I think. Then it kept going. It kept going because finally I was like, this company can't keep doing this. It can't keep doing this. It can't keep going up when everything is screaming that it needs to get cut. There's nothing positive about used car sales in America right now. So, but I don't know. I didn't want to hold like I can't watch all the time. I just didn't want to hold that when I'm not watching because that thing's a psycho. That
Oh
stock.
yeah.
I'm having fun with it. I buy the inverse ETF. I don't short per se. I mean, that's a decent option.
Yeah.
You're not going to
Can be.
get fully you're not going to get all the benefit, but you're going to be protected a little bit more. So, yep. It's funny what a time that you can buy an ETF that shorts a company.
Yep.
The times we live in here. Which it serves a purpose though. But then people also say, "Oh, I could trade options on this thing." It's like, no, it's margin. Don't do. Oh, what are you doing? You don't know you're hwanging it and you don't even know it. Don't hwang it. Responsibly hwang it. Oh well.
Yeah.
I think I gotta eat. It's time for dinner.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on, Dan.
I should probably I can't be so doomer. This will be the last of my doomerism. Maybe I'll do something more. Well, I'll be on Russ's channel next, I think, unless I do a video. So that would come maybe next week or the week after. So Dapper dividend guy. He wanted me to talk about some stocks that he could buy. So I have to think about what types of stocks they buy. Like I have stuff like Republic Services and Caterpillar and McDonald's, Tractor Supply, KLA. I don't know.
I think there's good value in like even if you're not necessarily buying it, but like your opinion on where things are and how things go. It's still useful.
I still think housing is investable. At some point, it's going to come back to the norms. It's been a year and a half. I mean, maybe it's a 3-year investment horizon. I don't know. I'm not giving up on it. So, thanks for watching. Oh, fellow, yes, it's the only REIT I own anymore. Which is kind of like I used to have like had like 10 REITs at one point. I went through a REIT phase during during the lockdown. I went through this. I don't know. I just got into REITs all of a sudden. I just had this whole like retirement portfolio of REITs, and then after a while, you're just like, it just I just like wasn't my thing anymore. So I've just slowly been paring them down, and now I'm just the only one left is Agri. It's the only one I have
Okay.
left. But I'm holding. I mean, I am fully committed to holding that, and then when I get near retirement, I'm going to probably bump that up because that'll be like that's a great retirement invest. I think that's a great ETF for retirement. The way he manages it, the way Joey talks, like he's very responsible. You know, I mean, you can go listen to interviews. Russ did an interview of him, which was excellent. I really enjoyed that. So I don't have to sell people. Joey will sell himself. So he's the type of guy I feel like that's the type of guy you want running an ETF or a REIT that you need monthly distributions for retirement. So he's very conscious of what he's buying, but that also means you're not going to have huge outperformance booms necessarily. It's the way he looks at finance. All right. I think that's it. Brain is tainted. So well, time will tell if I'm right or wrong this year, but I'll be around. So
Oh, yeah.
thanks for watching and have a good day.